Example number 1. To cut expenses, a carpenter sometimes glues two kinds of plywood together. He glues a 1/3 inch piece of walnut plywood to a 5/6 inch piece of less expensive plywood. What is the total thickness? And that's our word clue that we're going to need to add. 1/3 plus 5/6. Now, fractions require a common denominator when you are adding, and the only way you can change a denominator is by multiplying both the denominator and the numerator by the same number. So if I multiply that first fraction, numerator and denominator, by 2, I get 2/6, and now it has the same denominator as the 5/6. So that's going to give me a 7/6. Now, it asks for an integer or simplified fraction, so it's going to be 7/6, but really, in the real world, we would want to write this as 1 1/6 inches. You do that by going 6 into 7. 1 times 6 is 6. Subtract. 6 won't go into 1, so then we write that as 1 1/6. So either one of these is a correct answer. My math lab doesn't say you can have a mixed number, though. Example number 2. On a certain day, it rained 1/5 of an inch in the morning and 4/15 of an inch in the afternoon. How much did it rain all together? All together. That's sort of our hint that we need to add. So I need to add 1/5 plus 4/15, and again, these have to have matching denominators. So I need to do a times 3, but I can only do that if I do both the top and the bottom. So that's 3/15 plus 4/15 is 7/15 of an inch, not a square inch. A square inch would be if we were trying to cover something, but we're not. We're just trying to figure out how much rain this is that fell into the bucket. Okay, so it's just 7/15 inches. Example number 3. A park ranger hiked a 1/4 mile to a lookout, another 1/3 of a mile to a bird's nest, and finally 5/6 of a mile to a campsite. How far did the park ranger hike? Well, how far? That means we need to know the total, which means, again, we need to add. So I've got 1/4 of a mile plus 1/3 plus 5/6, and I need to find something that all 3 of these denominators will go into to get our common denominator, and 4, 3, and 6 will all divide into 12 evenly. So I need 12 in every denominator, so multiply the top and the bottom of each fraction by the number that's going to get you a 12 in each denominator. So that's 3/12 plus 4/12 plus 10/12, and that's going to give me 3 plus 4 plus 10 over 12. That's 17/12, which is 1 5/12. So as a fraction, the answer is 17/12. As a mixed number, it's 1 5/12. Number 4. The exterior wall of a small office building under construction is constructed of 3/4 inch paneling, 7/8 inch fire code sheetrock, 2 3/4 inches studs, and a 1/2 inch CDX plywood, another 1 1/4 inch insulation board, and 7/8 inch exterior surfacing. What's the total? That's telling us to add 3/4 plus 7/8 plus 2 3/4, and I'm going to change that to a fraction in just a minute, plus 1/2 plus 1 1/4. I'm going to change that to a fraction, plus 7/8. So before I get common denominators for these, I'm going to change this to the mixed number, and I go 2 times 4 plus 3 over 4. That's 8 plus 3, 11 fourths. So I'm going to replace 2 3/4 with 11 fourths, right? And then I'm going to have to do 1 1/4, and that's going to be 1 times 4 plus 1 over 4. That's 5 over 4. So I'll replace 1 1/4 with 5 over 4. So now I'm looking at denominators of 4, 8, and 2. They'll all go into 8. So I need 8 in every denominator. So this one I need to do times 2 top and bottom. 7 eighths already has an 8. 11 fourths is times 2 top and bottom. 1/2 is times 4 top and bottom. 5 fourths is times 2 top and bottom. And then that last 7 eighths is fine because it already has an 8. So my new fractions with common denominators are 6 eighths plus 7 eighths plus 22 eighths plus 4 eighths plus 10 eighths plus 7 eighths. I'm going to add these numerators. 6 plus 7 plus 22 plus 4 plus 10 plus 7. All of that is going to be over 8. And so let's see, that's 13 and 22 is 35 plus 4 is 39 plus 10 is 49. 49 plus 7 is 56. And 56 divided by 8 is an even 7 inches. The wall is 7 inches thick. Example number 5. A blueprint requires 4 separate pieces of wood measuring 8 1/8 inches, 9 1/4 inches, 6 13/16 inches, and 7 3/8 inches. But they also want to allow us a 1/2 inch for waste. So we got to add on a 1/2 inch. And that 1/2 inch will be, when you cut the board 3 times to get your 4 pieces, these total up to a 1/2 inch. So we just have to add these 5 numbers together. The first thing I'm going to do is add the whole numbers. You can do this with mixed numbers. 8 and 9 is 17, 6 is 23, and 7 is 30. Now I'm going to add 1/8 plus 1/4 plus 13/16 plus 3/8 plus 1/2. I have to get a common denominator of 16. Look, 16 is what they're going to all go into. So top and bottom 1/8 by 2. Top and bottom of 1/4 by 4, top and bottom of 3/8 by 2, and then 1/2 will be top and bottom by 8. This will give us a 16 denominator in all of the fractions. 2/16 plus 4/16 plus 13/16 plus 6/16 plus 8/16. If I add these together, 2 plus 4 is 6, 13 is 19, plus 6 is 25, 25 plus 8 is 33/16. Now, I need to make this a mixed number by dividing. 16 goes into 33 twice. 2 times 16 is 32. Subtract, I get a 1, so 2 and 1/16. So 30 plus 2 and 1/16 is 32 and 1/16. So I need a board that is at least 32 and 1/16 inches long. Example 6. A welder needs a piece of 1/2 inch pipe 16 1/2 inches long. She has a piece that is 28 1/4 inches long. How much must she cut off from the longer piece? And then, of course, our clue here is cut off means we're going to need to subtract. So we're going to take the total piece, 28 1/4, subtract the piece we need, 16 1/2, and they don't say anything about waste, so we're just going to assume there's none. I'm going to change these both to improper fractions. That's especially important for subtraction. 28 times 4 plus 1 is 113 over 4. 16 times 2 is 32 plus 1 is 33 over 2. I need matching denominators of 4, so the second fraction has to be multiplied. So it's 113 over 4 minus 66 over 4. When I subtract 113 minus 66, I get 47/4. So 4 goes into 47. Eleven times with 3 left over. So 11 3/4 inches. The welder must cut off 11 3/4 inches from the longer piece.